Hey, and welcome to the Meditations and Musings podcast. I'm Elena Lipson. I'm a mama, I'm a wife, and I'm the founder of the Divine Self-Care Circle membership and the Virtual Retreat Academy. I don't believe that you have to sacrifice your body, your health, or your family in order to create true abundance and prosperity. I believe in living based on the divine feminine metrics of success, and these include pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. Each week, I'll bring you 1 to 2 new episodes. One of these will be a guided meditation that you don't have to do on the meditation pillow, and the other will be a conversation to help you access your inner wisdom, to ignite abundance, and inspire others to do the same. I invite you to join me on this journey back to the magic of a divinely aligned and well cared for you. And now, join me for today's episode. Welcome back to the Meditations and Musings podcast. I am so excited to have you here. And I'm actually really excited. We're almost at episode 200, and I'm planning a really awesome giveaway. Every year when I celebrate my anniversary, I often do a giveaway into several different aspects of my program. And this year, episode number 200 is aligning within a few weeks of my anniversary. So it's going to be really fun. I'm planning some exciting things for you. And one of the giveaways is going to be into my 2021 Divine Self-Care Circle. And there are some changes coming to the circle. It might be a whole new circle, might have a new name, not sure yet. I'm feeling into all of the aligned energy that wants to come through and deciding whether we are literally like starting from scratch or whether we are adding elements and revising things. So it's kind of what we're talking about today. Talking about releasing expectations. We're going to get into that in a moment. And we're going to look at it through the lens of the Inner Authority Framework, which is my signature framework that I am now bringing to light. It brings aspects of literally all the work I've done over the last decade together into a journey, essentially, that we're going to be focusing on in the Divine Self-Care Circle. And this giveaway is really awesome for several reasons. One is it's been a while since I've done a scholarship giveaway into the circle, and the price is going to more than double for 2021, and whoever is in the circle already will automatically have their current pricing essentially as alumni. So you will receive the same circle, all the benefits at the pricing of 2020, which we're in right now. So if you're listening to this in 2020. So I want to talk to you today about, and I'll share more details as we go, I promise. I'll be sharing a lot more details to my email list and over on Instagram at Elena_Lipson. So if you're not playing with me over there, it's where I spend a lot of time. So check it out there. You can receive all of the goodies that I share there, my rituals, my musings, anytime I'm doing a giveaway or anything like that, it happens over there as well. So, and then if you are wanting to get on my email list, you can simply sign up for my free Magic Morning Practice over on Instagram as well. And then you'll get the Magic Morning Practice, and as well as be on my email list to get notified when we're doing any giveaways or any exciting new workshops coming up, which we will have very soon here. Okay, so releasing expectations. You know, it's one of these things that it's really easy to say, and it's really hard to do if you believe it is, which we all do believe it is. Most of us believe that. It is really hard to release expectations, and especially when you're working on something, creating something, we're going to look at it through the lens of something initiated through expectations of something you're creating. And then we're going to look at it through the lens of expectations of other people, because both can be very frustrating, but also have different energies around it. So first, we're going to look at it through the energy of expectations of an outcome of something that you're creating. And the reason we have outcomes and expectations is because we want things, right? We want things, we want things to happen. We want things to be created. We want to experience success. Sorry if you're experiencing some noise right now. I just moved my microphone a little bit so I can get more comfortable. I'm recording upstairs right now in my what we call the playroom in my house, because my son was doing high school downstairs. My husband was doing laundry. Thank you. Yes, he was. And I needed a quiet place upstairs. So if you hear a dog bark, that might happen. So we want expectations to come true because we work hard for things. We want things to come to fruition the way we foresee them, the way we envision them, right? We want success in our business. We want to experience the outcome in a positive way. And so we have these expectations. And the interesting thing about expectations for ourselves, expectations of outcomes, is that sometimes we limit ourselves in what we expect. And in limiting ourselves, we keep our expectations actually kind of small. Like we think that we want our business to grow a certain way, or we want, to live in a certain kind of house, or we want to make a certain amount of money. But maybe our expectations are even based on the past. So that when we start to envision something bigger, we kind of bring it back in because it makes us uncomfortable. And so expectations can actually keep us stuck in playing small and expecting less. Right? Because having expectations doesn't necessarily have to be a positive thing either. Sometimes our expectations are very practical and logical, and like maybe you're a pessimist by default, which is not a bad thing. Some people are sort of naturally skeptical and on the pessimistic side, and some people are naturally optimistic and think everything's going to be wonderful and amazing, right? And there's nothing wrong with either one. We need both. We need both in the world. We can't survive with everyone thinking one way, which I'm not going to go there right now, but let's just say I really believe in thinking for yourself. If you want to know more about that, then you can DM me and we can have that conversation. But I do believe, and one of the main reasons that I teach the inner authority framework, just like break it down, inner authority, your authority comes from within. It means that you find alignment with your voice, amplify your energy, and declare your values so you can trust yourself to make decisions and set expectations, right? Inner authority is based in having an inner anchor of agency. It is based in having body wisdom that you can really connect with, and having your soul as a compass. And then I have all these tools I teach in between, and systems that I teach, and how to really connect with your intuition and have good boundaries and clarify your desires. So that's what I teach in the circle. How does this connect to expectations? The expectations that you have for yourself are most likely guided by the past, either your family of origin, what you think is possible for yourself, what you've seen around you. And unless you've really taken the time to discern and to clarify whether you are living based on past expectations of yourself, things that people around you told you were capable of or not capable of, things you think you can do or can't do, and therefore you create these expectations that are either positive or negative or big or small, but they're really based on what you think can happen. So when you start to release those expectations, and it doesn't mean you don't have goals. It doesn't mean you don't have a vision for yourself. But it means that you allow yourself to acknowledge, identify, and release the possibility that something even better is on the way. That something even bigger, wilder, more magical than you can ever imagine is possible. At least possible, right? Because if you don't think it's even possible, then you will never do anything outside of the realm of your own possibility. You'll never take a risk. You'll never take that 3 seconds of courage action. The 3 seconds of courage action is what I talk about in my coaching. It's that little thing that you want to do. Send that email, press send, go that new direction. Like usually that risk only takes about 3 seconds of action. That's what those, like we make it so big in our mind, but really it just takes an in-breath, an out-breath, and hitting the send button. It's usually how that works. So I want to invite you to notice Notice what expectations you have of yourself. Do you find yourself talking yourself out of the things that you want? Oh, it's not for me, it's for someone else, it's for them, or I could never have that, or that's too hard, or it's too much work, or I won't know how to handle it, right? Those are some of the thoughts you might be thinking. And so if you can just step by step acknowledge what your expectations are, and then just go a step beyond that, like go a little bit further. What's possible? Or like, what if? And then let yourself do what we did so naturally when we were little. Daydream. Just daydream, right? Let yourself, like, I don't know, explore. What if I decided to take a class on belly dancing? What would that be like? Right? Or what if I decided to read a book about videography? Or what if I decided to become a food blogger? I don't know, like just let yourself go beyond expectation. Because once you start creating new connections in your mind and being playful and starting to release those expectations of what you think the outcome has to be in your life, then you start to see synchronicities happen and magic happen, and your intuition starts to awaken in a way that curiosity can only do. Because once you know the outcome and you know your expectation, well, your intuition pretty much goes to sleep, right? But when you don't know the outcome and when you get curious and when you wonder what's possible, then your intuition is like, all right, let's play. I got this. Let me show you, give you some new ideas. Let me nudge you in the right direction, because what you think isn't possible is actually the most tiny version of what's possible. Like, oh my gosh, I just read this story this morning in one of my, I'm in a mastermind, this really incredible mastermind with women doing, and there's men there too, actually, doing incredible things. And one of the women posted today, she said, just when you think you're supposed to give up on your dream or you should just stop doing what you wanted to do, she posted about this one DJ rapper named D-Nice. And if you haven't heard of him, you can check him out on Instagram. Well, he basically, his career as a rapper and a DJ was basically, I don't know, flattened when he was younger. They told him he couldn't succeed and he was never going to make it. And essentially he didn't make it, quote unquote, make it, right? And then when the whole COVID lockdown happened, he still kept continuing in his own life to explore music and being a DJ, right? But it just wasn't done on a large scale to make massive success the way society sees it. So when the COVID lockdown happened, and I think it was at least a couple of weeks, maybe a month or more into it. And I remember this happening. It was magical. It was absolutely magical. He basically, and I hadn't been following him. I hadn't even heard of him, but someone was listening and he showed up live and I went to this, he basically what he did was he realized that everyone was experiencing massive stress. And he just wanted to help people de-stress a little bit with music. That's his medicine, right? So he basically went live, put on some music, the lights were low, it was amazing. He played these incredible beats and you would just listen and there were thousands. Oh, first there were hundreds and there were thousands. I think his account went from I don't know, it was for sure under 100,000. His account was way under 100,000 if I'm remembering correctly. I can't exactly remember. Oh, I wish I remember the exact number. But within a matter of I want to say weeks, didn't take very long. Within a matter of weeks, his followers on Instagram went up to hundreds of thousands, okay? And basically he called it Club Quarantine. And now he has 2.4 million followers. And he played live at the Emmys, from his studio. He played at the Emmys. He played, oh my God, think about it, right? So he was following an intuitive nudge to go live, and it led him to incredible, massive fame. I mean, I think Michelle Obama was live on his thing. He had all these incredible stars, politicians, I think even Oprah. It was crazy. And that's the kind of thing that I'm saying. Like, if he even had that expectation, could you imagine? He would think he was insane. Like, no one knows where those intuitive nudges lead you. But if you don't follow them, they go nowhere. And following them can be sometimes as easy as, hey, I'm just going to press record and do my thing, the thing that I love to do so much that might not make any sense, but I'm going to serve. I'm going to just be here. I'm going to make people happy. This excites me. It's what I love to do. And boom. And again, I'm not guaranteeing you that every intuitive nudge is going to lead to you performing at the Emmys, right? But you have your own path. You have your own version of following your intuitive nudges that leads you to the next step and the next step and the next step. But you must trust yourself. That's why my inner authority framework, the main mission of it, the message, is that it's your path to self-trust. Because then when you do have those little intuitive nudges, you don't have to sit there calculating your expectations. You just release them. You go, I don't know where this is going, but I trust that I'm being guided. I trust that this is where I'm supposed to go. And you just do it. And it could be as simple as pressing record and sharing your message. It could be sending an email. It could be writing a poem. It could be offering to help someone do something. It could be redecorating your bedroom and posting before and after pictures. I have a client who now is like this really sought after interior decorator virtually because she started sharing her passion for redecorating her daughter's bedroom. She's got like thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, and she's doing what she loves. And it started from this like just inner nudge to share it. And I remember she was asking me, should I share it? Do you think I should share it? Is anyone going to watch it? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea if anyone's going to watch it. But why don't we just try it? Just go for it. Press record, do it, and poof. Like, people love it. I love it. I watch it. Like, I'd hire her in a second. So releasing expectations can lead you down to places that you would have never expected. And then on the other side, releasing expectations of other people is a hard one to do. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about it this morning, right? Like, I sometimes, this maybe you can relate to this, because I love to be a really good friend. I love to be in communication. I'm the emoji queen. I send gifts all the time. Like, I just love to drop little love notes to people. Like, I'm thinking of you. I love you. What do you have going on today? How are you? What can we celebrate? Like, it's so much part of my DNA. Before texting was a thing, I would send love notes to people. I would send like thank you cards. Like, it just makes me happy to do that. And I don't do it with expectation of people doing it back. But then I realized I was having a moment of like, I started realizing that I do have a few friends that are a little bit like not as in communication as I am. I do have some that are, which I love. Like, that's my bestie for sure. If you can communicate as much as I can, you and I are going to be best friends for sure. Like, you can't text me too much. And if I can text you too much, then probably not a good bestie situation. I mean, I do have limits and I have my boundaries, and so do you, and that's all good. But I do have some friends that have like other things going on and they're just not as prone to texting as much as I love texting or whatever, right? And so I started noticing, like, judging the relationship. Like, wait a minute, is something going on here? Like, and I noticed myself going into this kind of a needy space. And I'm not a needy person. I love being alone. I love doing my things. Like, I have no codependent bone in my body. I really don't. So I just had to realize that, wait a minute, I'm expecting the other person to act like I would act, and that is not fair. So, and that happens with kids, with parents, with siblings. And I'm writing a whole book about this, y'all. So coming soon, right? Coming really soon. The False Agreements book is coming. And this false agreement of other people's expectations is a whole chapter. So you'll have some tools, all good, coming soon. But I'm looking at it from the opposite lens right now, not like other people's expectations of you and living by them, but really your expectations of other people. And when they don't fulfill those expectations, you can have this tendency, or I know I do, I'll speak for myself here, I know we all do this, is we start to make up stories about them.
and why they're not acting or doing or fulfilling your expectation. And it actually puts a wedge in the relationship. So this is where honest, authentic, radically honest communication comes into play. First and foremost, before you have that honest, radical conversation with someone else, you have that, sorry for the noise, I just moved again. You have that radically honest conversation with yourself first. And you say, okay, is this true? Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Katie Byron's work, but that's one of the questions she asks, and I love it. When you have a thought, when you have a judgment about someone else, when you have this idea or story that you're making up, you first ask, is this true? How do I know it's true, right? And most likely you'll see that what you're actually doing is you're making up a story about them. You're having a conversation with the other person in your head, and you're already having these emotions without even having had a conversation with them. And guess what? Most likely there's something going on or not going on in their life that has zero to do with you. And just like me, it has zero to do with me. So we must release the expectations that we have for other people. And it will make your life so much more peaceful and honest and loving to yourself and others. Because then you won't be doing something just because you think you're going to receive something back. You'll only be doing it if you want to do it. And then if you're only doing it for some sort of payback, positive or negative, whatever, then you're not doing it authentically. And those relationships are going to crumble and disintegrate eventually, because those relationships aren't based on loving, kindness, compassionate giving. So this is the inner work, y'all. This is the inner work where we get honest with ourselves and we forgive ourselves for doing these things in the past, because they're totally freaking human. Just there's so many amazing, self-care, self-love, self-mastery practices. And we work on all of these things, how to follow that intuitive nudge. We work on all of these things in the circle. So of course you can keep listening to my podcast. Please do, right? I don't charge you for this. It's free for you to enjoy and learn from and grow. And if you want more support, I want to remind you that the circle is open for you anytime you are ready to step inside, and that the pricing will be going up in 2021. So if you are ready to get into the circle, I would highly suggest you do it in 2020, because ain't going to be no discounts in 2021. We're doing some really cool stuff. We're doing some movement and journaling and meditations, and it's just going to be, and not just that, those are just part of it. Okay. So that's what I got for you today. I'm going to go make myself some lunch, and I think my house is quiet. I think my husband went to the gym, and I believe my son went for a bike ride with a friend, and my dog might even be napping. So I have some time to go make myself a yummy meal and do some writing and maybe take a nap or take a walk. I don't know. We'll see. Can't wait to see. Maybe my intuition will pop in a nudge and I'll go do that. All right. I invite you to release those expectations and continue doing this inner work, because it is so important for you to be aligned with what's most important to you in life, to be authentic in your relationships so that you could have those supportive connections. And I know a lot of them right now are virtual. And that's okay. Sometimes we have a season of loneliness. We have a season of recalibrating ourselves. We have a season of looking inward. And as painful or hard or lonely as that can be, it is part of the human journey. And for those of you who are experiencing radical loneliness and really having a hard time, please know that there are resources out there for you. I'll share, I've shared some before in the comments, and I have personally dealt with depression before, and I know that place where it just feels so hopeless and it feels so dark. And I want to just remind you lovingly that it does get better and there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that sometimes we're meant to go through that period of doubt and darkness and to
come back from it stronger and better. But when you're in it, it's really, really difficult to see that. So please reach out. There's amazing hotlines out there. Suicide prevention and mental wellness. There's so many virtual tools right now. If you need some support or help finding one, please message me on Instagram. I know anxiety and chronic stress right now is through the roof, and it's not an easy time for those of you who have this sort of way of being in the world, which is not wrong or bad. It's just a sensitive soul journey, and you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there who are really in touch with emotions, and that can be difficult sometimes. So please know you're not alone. All right, my friends, divine ones, thank you for being here. I truly honor and appreciate you. I know you're out there. I know we're not seeing each other heart to heart, face to face right now, but I hope that my voice is coming into your soul, into your ears, into your space, and letting you know that you are not alone, that you are worthy of investing your time, your energy, and your money in your wellness, in your joy, in your playfulness, and let this space be one of uplifting and inspiration. Alrighty, I'll see you on the next episode of the Meditations and Musings podcast.
Thank you so much for listening and learning about the new divine self-care way of being in your life, business, and the bedroom based on the divine feminine metrics of success: pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. If you're ready to bust the myth of overwhelm and tap into an inspired start to each day, I've put together a free video series for you to help you start each day with energy, inspiration, and ignite that inner pilot light which attracts joy, magic, and synchronicity. You can access my 3-step magic morning practice to help you ignite your inner light and attract the abundance that you're craving. Head on over to ElenaLipson.com/gift. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would so love if you share it with a friend, a sister, a mother, a daughter, and please leave a review. That is how the magic starts to ripple out. Here's wishing you a day full of beauty, magic, and divine self-care. I'll see you next time at the Meditations and Musings podcast.